Hello there. My name is Quentin Russell, and I am the engagement specialist here at Doc365. And today I am going to be talking to you guys about what to look for in a contract management system. Now, the way this is going to work is what we're going to talk about today is, first of all, we're going to go over who we are at Doc365. So our history, what we do, what we work on. And from there, we'll take a look at what a contract management system is, just so that we all have the same operational definition throughout the rest of this webinar. From there, we'll take a look at features to look for in a contract management system. So basically things that you want to be taking a look at. As part of that, we'll be going into a live demo environment of our contract management system. That way, we can give you a visual representation of what you should be looking for with each of these features. From there, we'll talk about a few things you should look for in a contract management system provider. So specifically, when you are sourcing a CMS vendor, what are the things you should do and look out for when trying to do so? And after that, we'll do a question and answer session, basically where we'll go over any questions that people may have. As part of that, if they would just type those out in the chat, I will go through those in a chronological order. That way, everyone is able to get their question in a timely manner without having to do some round table thing where people are kind of hesitant and aren't sure what to do. And if there is anything I'm not able to answer during this session, I will do my best to research it and submit that back to you guys later today when I send over the webinar recording. With that said, let's jump into it. So first of all, who are we? So we're Doc365. We're located in Jacksonville, Florida, and we have over 18 years of experience working with SharePoint and Office 365, specifically to deliver exceptional productivity solutions. So we work with a wide range of companies in a variety of industries to implement a diverse array of SharePoint productivity tools. These include internet portals, contract management systems, CRM solutions, and more. If you have any questions about those, or if you would like to schedule a free demo of those, feel free to reach out to us, either at info@mydoc365.com, or you can head over to our website. From there, if you go to the top right corner, you'll see a button that says free demo. Click that right there, fill out the form on the website and submit that. And we'll get back to you within the next couple of days, or more specifically in the next 24 hours, to schedule a demo and get things sorted out, and so that we can show you the demo. With that said, let's jump into the actual webinar today. So first of all, what is a CMS? Well, a CMS or contract management system is software that's used to create, negotiate, sign, renew, and gather data on legal contracts in your organization. A CMS can allow your team to self-serve from contract templates and smooth out the process of contract lifecycle management. Now, contract lifecycle management is a topic that we've gone over extensively in previous webinars and in blogs on our website. So if you are unsure of what exactly that looks like, you can feel free to check any of those out. If you want to go see some of that on our previous webinars, go to our website, mydoc365.com. Head on over to the resources tab. There you'll find the webinar page, scroll through, find anything on contract management system, and we go into that in depth. Or just head over to our blog where we explain that in a variety of different contract management blogs. With that said, contract management system is going, or a CMS is going to differ wildly, at least in terms of what it looks like from vendor to vendor. Some vendors build out wholly separate, distinct CLM or CMS systems that essentially where they store your data, they build out the entire infrastructure themselves. And so they're going to charge you per user. They're going to, there's going to be several compliance hoops that you're going to have to jump through. Others build out their systems on other platforms. So for instance, here at Doc365, we build out our contract management system on your Office 365 subscription. So basically everything is stored normally, as opposed to having to jump through any compliance hoops. Everything's stored as it would be if you were just using SharePoint as a file sharing For companies that do that, they're essentially just modifying the UI of SharePoint to make it easier for your users to access the higher level Office 365 and SharePoint capabilities that make contract management so easy. But generally, they are going to differ. They're going to differ in their scope, their cost. Some are just good for storing the documents and then essentially tracking them after you've implemented them. Some are going to be more weighted towards the actual contract generation process. So they'll have entire workflows and processes built out for that, but they won't have as much built out for the actual lifecycle maintenance after it's been signed, executed, and stored. So basically, when looking at a CMS, you kind of have to take a look at a lot of different factors in your own organization. You need to take a look at your needs, what you're going to use it for when selecting it, because otherwise you're going to get a contract management system that either does too much and you're essentially just paying for more than you can use, or it doesn't do enough and you're paying for something that doesn't actually benefit your organization. Speaking of the benefits of a contract management system, there are 3 distinct benefits to using one. The first one is risk reduction. So according to Aberdeen, compliance management is improved 55% with a contract management system. So essentially being able to demonstrate compliance basically depends on you being able to build traceable audit trails and compliance monitoring. So generally a contract management system that boasts the ability to do that is going to help you keep track of any risks and contract safety concerns so that you can decrease your overall supply chain risks and basically spend less on any costly legal fees. It also makes it much easier to onboard new suppliers and onboard new customers, or more specifically with the suppliers on the vendor aspect, basically making it so that you can better track any risks associated with them, speed up the process of getting them onboarded and getting the contracts built out for that, so that you don't have to spend a ton of time in the actual supplier onboarding process and can spend more time benefiting from that supplier and the service they're providing to you. The next one is financial optimization. I mean, like I said previously, contract management system is going to help you reduce legal fees, and it's also going to help you eliminate any unplanned renewals of unwanted services, because generally a contract management system is going to send you notifications when a contract is about to expire or set to renew. So making these details visible are going to help you avoid paying extra money. According to Ardent Partners, enterprises that link their sourcing and contracting processes are more likely to retain a higher percentage of identified savings. In fact, procurement teams that use a contract management system reported an annual savings rate that is 37% higher than their peers. Basically because what they're doing is they're using their contract management systems to map out different timings and renewals so that they're able to buy from approved suppliers at the right time for the right quantities at agreed upon prices, so that you're not having to do any off-contract spending. This also allows you to track rebates, delivery terms, volume discounts, so that you can have all of the savings that you negotiate during the sourcing cycle without having to, without missing out on them. Because you'll run into situations like with a supplier or something where you're trying to take advantage of a deal. And there's certain terms within the contract wherein after a year it renews, you go up to a higher pricing structure. At that point in time, you can know to reach out to them and say, hey, we are within X number of days of cancellation. If you do not give us a more favorable deal, as opposed to jumping us up to the higher pricing tier, we are going to take our services elsewhere. Basically, a contract management system, by making everything more visible and being on top of things, you're able to track information specifically with vendor management and go to your vendors and say, well, you're not actually helping us all that much. So we're either going to take our services elsewhere unless you give us a discount that matches the way that we're using you. Or you can go to vendors and you can basically say, well, actually, this person isn't helping us. We should just cut our services with this organization. But this organization and what they're supplying to us has benefited us greatly. So let's go in and essentially increase our lot with them. That way you're getting a full benefit out of your system and you're using it to generate and act on actionable, business data, essentially. But the last one is boosted productivity. So basically, with a contract management system, you're able to track critical milestones and create automated alerts and tools that let users schedule notifications as needed. So you're able to get rid of a lot of the manual processes for task generation and assignation. So basically, instead of, hey, we're supposed to make a payment by this date, but no one knew to do it, so we've missed out on it, you're able to get it done in time, plan around it, budget for it, and make sure that everything is working and running smoothly. Basically, if you're able to adequately manage your obligations and agreements, you're going to be able to stay on top of everything and keep your contracts moving through their life cycle smoothly and efficiently. Doing so will also help you build your relationships with these vendors, with your customers, as you're known for being reliable, known for getting things done on time or even early, will make people want to work with you more because they'll hear about you. They'll say, okay, well, we actually do like working with these people because they're fast, they're reliable, they're efficient, they do a good job. And so that's going, and so that's going to drive more business to your organization. And rather than that flooding your organization and gumming up the works because you have too much work and not enough productivity, essentially, the system automates a lot of things and expands the capacity of your team to handle more contracts and handle more business essentially coming into your business. But from there, let's take a look at 5 features that you should look at when it comes to searching for a contract management system. So these 5 distinct features essentially are the backbone of any contract management system that you should take a look at, because each one of them is important and is going to help you essentially get all of the benefits of the contract management system. If a contract management system doesn't offer these, then it's probably not worth moving forward with. However, there is the caveat that this does depend on your needs and your essentially expectations and business concerns. I also do apologize for any bells that you might hear in the background. My coworkers, as in my cats, recently got bell collars and they are not altogether used to them. So if you hear any random ringing in the background, that is in fact my fuzzy little coworkers. I do apologize. That is unfortunately something we are going to have to deal with as they become accustomed to these new collars of theirs. So with that said, the 5 main features that you should look for are a central dashboard. So essentially a jumping off point that kind of informs the work that gets done in a contract management system. You should have a searchable repository, contract templates, automated workflows, and just automation in general. So basically ways to do large scale tasks without having to do a ton of, individual labor. So like changing over contracts from one person to another en masse. With that said, we'll go and take a look at these in the context of an actual contract management system. So real quick, we're going to pull this up. So what you see here is the dashboard of Doc's contract management system. And this is a great place for us to jump onto because it's one of the first features that I discussed. So basically with the dashboard, it's going to show you the tasks that you need to get done for the day. So essentially any, like when they're due, what they're associated with, what their current status is. So that way you can prioritize the work that you're doing. Because I'm sure you've run into this situation in the past, but there it doesn't matter if you do a great job on a task that's due 2 weeks from now, when you've completely missed a task that's due in 2 days, and it's incredibly important for your business. So this provides a level of visibility for your tasks and for your contracts that allow you to prioritize and get done what needs to get done when it needs to get done. With that said, basically the contract management system's dashboard is going to show you important information as well that can inform what you do beyond just the individual tasks that you do each day. Like for instance, by default, Docs comes with a expiring contracts box essentially. So it'll show you the contracts that are about to expire within 30, 60, and 90 days. In fact, our system also allows you to click here to jump to those specific contracts, so you don't have to go through and filter out that information and can instead just jump to it without having to worry. The same thing can be said for the different contracts by status. So if you need to go in and review your different drafts or anything that has been sent for signature or something like that, or have just recently been received fully executed, you can go in, click to those specific contracts, jump to that information, and go from there. That said, our contract management system also offers you more than just the initial dashboard. And this is definitely something you should expect from other contract management systems. Basically, they allow you to go into more expanded dashboards that allow you to essentially track important information about the system. So as you can see, there's still the expiring contracts and contracts by status tab, but you also have the like the active vendor contracts value, active customer contracts value, contract value by department, contract value by type. You should also be able to do the same thing for the different parties that you're working with and for any contract requests in your system, so long as the contract management system does have a contract request or contract intake process. So with that said, our dashboard also allows you to really quick search for different contracts through here. So you can do a quick search for any specific contracts, parties, requests, or tasks that you're looking for. So you can jump that process and really quick find what you're looking for if you know exactly what you're trying to get access to. 1 second, I do apologize. You, out. I do apologize for that. So moving on to the second bit, which is having a searchable repository. So with our contract management system, we have built out a full central repository of the different contracts that the organization has built for them to have access to. So basically, this allows you to either search by name, so if you want to find any NDAs in your system, so long as they're labeled that way, or the filter function allows you to essentially go through and say, I want to find all the NDAs in the system. Well, I'd like to filter that out. Oh, nothing in there. I would like to instead sort by, so we'll reset this real quick. I would like to search for the different contracts in my system where that are about to expire from this date to this date. Filter that out. Oh, hey, you find it right there. You can also sort by name. Basically, you want to be able to have different metadata tags or information related to your contracts set up within the system so that you can then easily sort through and find that data without having to sift through entire folders and just giant mountains of data to find that information, and can instead just come through here and find that information and just get access to that specific contract really quickly. The other thing is that you should also be able to save those filters. So say you want to find all of the approved contracts in the system, or any of the contracts that are currently, lease agreements or something like that. All of these should be you should be able to filter out information, save it, and then access that filter at a later date allowing you to further save time without having to do a bunch of filtration. Basically just skipping a lot of the excess processes and getting to the heart of just finding the contracts that you're looking for. Moving on from here, you should be able to have contract templates that you can then build out your contracts from. So for instance, with Doc's system, basically we have it set up so that should you want to, say, build an NDA, all you would have to do is upload the specific document, choose which fields you want people to be able to fill out. And then from there, they go in here, they would say add a contract, go with NDA, and say, I would like to say, okay, it's, Doc NDA. We want this with the Wayland Yutani Corporation. This is their address. Fill out this information. From here, it's effective from the 21st through the 25th. And from there, it's going to take the information that we filled out into these different fields and populate it into the contract, either from the metadata information that we've associated with that party or from the fields that we filled out right here. So we have a fully filled out and contract ready to be collaborated on within the system itself. And as you can see, here's how the contract is stored. Here's the important dates. All of these should be added to your contract management system so that you can have easy access to this data instead of having to copy a contract, make changes to it each time, go through, type everything out without having, and basically you just want to be able to take the important information, throw it into a contract template, generate it from there without having to go through a whole song and dance to get everything ready. From there, you want to have automated workflows set up within the contract management system. So in this case with Doc, we've set it up so that you can build out a number of different workflow templates. And basically these templates include like approval templates, tasks, essentially things that people need to do in order for the contract to be ready and approved for the different members of your organization and for it to finally be signed and executed. So essentially, once a contract workflow has been signed, a new contract has been created, you should be able to come in here and say, well, we need to get this approved by X number of people. So we'll say, okay, we'll use this workflow right here. The workflow has been created. And from there, you should be able to just click start. So as you can see, like with the template and everything, each stage has already been built out. You can then modify it. But from here, you should just be able to click start. And then this person will get a notification telling them to come in and review it. It updates the status of the contract right here. And then once they've completed this task, this person will then get a notification to come in and do this task. And then this person will get a notification to come in and do this task. And then once each task has been completed, it should update the status of the actual contract itself based off of the various stages. Having these allows you to cut out a lot of the human element and prevents a contract approval from getting lost in someone's email inbox so that you can move the whole process along smoothly. So, instead of a contract being done in, 6 months, it can be done in 3 to 4. And then finally, you should have some sort of extra automation within the system, specifically something that allows you to do large-scale tasks without having to do them one at a time. So say, for instance, someone leaves your organization and you need to transfer all of the contracts that they were working on over to someone else. Well, in this case, you should just be like with our contract management system, we offer you the ability to come in here and say, okay, well, I would like to change the contract owner. I would like to say for contracts, when the owner is Alex Rappaport, I would instead like to update the property of that contract to be owned by Adele Vance. And once you submit this and then you submit this workflow, it'll go through and take all of the contracts in the system that are owned by Alice Rappaport and make them now owned by Adele Vance. This allows you to essentially do large scale tasks and access the important parts of your system without having to do it one by one and spend a bunch of time on a bunch of menial tasks. Basically, you can instead automate this stuff, and you can do this to run every day. So if you're doing like a specific thing where you're transferring ownership of a contract to someone based off of a specific tag in the system. So say, for instance, all NDAs that have been created need to be assigned to one person. Well, when a new NDA is detected within the system, you can set it up so that an email is sent to that person to come in and review that, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole lot that you can do, but basically this custom automation allows you to modify the system and make it more yours, which a lot of contract management systems need to be able to do. Is they need to be able to, instead of forcing you to conform to the system itself, the system should be conforming to the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. With that said, let's pop this back up. Now that we've talked about the features you should look for in a contract management system, let's take a look at what you should expect from your CMS provider. First of all, when searching for a contract management system provider, you should look at their certifications and look at their credentials. What work have they done? Who do they work with? If they're working with a specific system, platform, or code base, what are their certifications when it comes to that? Like if they work on Office 365 and SharePoint, are they a Microsoft Gold certified partner? How long have they been working with Microsoft solutions? How long have they been offering the specific solution that they're offering? Because if they're only a year old, if they don't have like a gold certification, if they're working with Microsoft products, if they're not up to date with the latest in the specific programming language that they're using, or the specific style of software that they're using, or if they're just not super well known or versed in the industry, then they're probably not worth working with. But moving on from that, you should also be taking a look at customer recommendations. So you should reach out, you should either look for any reviews on different websites, or you should reach out to them during the procurement process and say, hey, can we get some customers and people that you've worked with so that we can reach out to them and see what they think of you? Do they enjoy working with you? Are you flexible? Because if a company does good work, then people are going to be very excited to share the good word of this company so that more people will want to work with them. The next thing you should look at is scalability. So how scalable is their system? How scalable is the company to what you're doing? Do they offer unlimited users? Do they offer a certain user count? What is the process for getting new users onboarding? Do they offer unlimited support and training? If they don't, maybe they're not worth considering, especially if you are a growing company. That's definitely something that you should be taking a look at. From there, you should also be taking a look at their pricing structure. Do they offer do they charge per user? Do they offer a monthly subscription fee? Is there a deployment cost? What are the hidden fees? What extra features do they offer? How do they package their different solutions together? Do they have a package solution in general? How does that work? Do they allow you to pick their solutions a la carte? Again, questions to be asking, because you want to have you want to find a company with a more flexible pricing structure, especially if you are a more smaller to medium-sized company that is growing rapidly, because eventually you're going to have to go back to them and say, hey, well, this solution's been great, but we need to upgrade, change things around. And if the company isn't going to be flexible with that, then they're probably not worth going forward with. And then from there, you want to take a look at data ownership. So what happens to your data? Where is it stored? How is it accessed? Who has access to it? If you decide to part ways with this company, do they hold your data hostage? Will they give it back to you? What happens after you're done with your partnership, essentially? because, sometimes you outgrow a system, sometimes changes are made to the system that cause you to move away from it. At that point in time that you decide to part ways, you need to ensure that your data is going to be safe, secure, and with you, so that your work is not interrupted, so that when you do eventually switch over to a new platform or system, you're able to transfer it smoothly without having to go through a whole song and dance that involves begging another company and potentially paying them to get everything back. So with that said, I think we're all done for the day. If anyone has any questions, feel free to answer them in the chat while you post those. Here's how you can get in touch with us. If you would like to schedule a demo of the contract management system, if you liked what you saw today, feel free to reach out to us at 904-309-9970 or at info@mydoc365.com. If you have any questions about contract management systems in general, feel free to reach out to me at qrussell@mydoc365.com. If you enjoy Doc's content and would like to support what we do, feel free to reach out and follow us on LinkedIn at Doc365. And yeah, again, if you're interested in scheduling a free demo, just head on over to our website, mydoc365.com. Click the free demo in the top right corner and just fill out the form there. We'd love to schedule a 30 to 45-minute free conversation to just go over and explore if our contract management system would fit your needs. This has been Quentin Russell with Doc365. Thank you very much and have a great day.